Uh-oh, it's going to be one of these shows, is it? Joe Joseph tamper-feeding with people in the chat room. I tell you, folks,
Wait a minute.
If he harasses you in the chat room, just put hashtag Joe2. We've all had that.
What did I say?
We've all had that awkward moment with Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Anyone? Bueller? No, I said nothing.
No, but you're in one of your boisterous moods today, Joe.
Am not,
sir. You are. How's it going, guys? How's it going? Another weekend? I tell you what, this year is flying by just as fast, if not quicker, than last year. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're already like almost halfway through January, aren't we?
It's insane. It's truly insane. So at least it's consistent, Scott. Time keeps speeding up.
What if this is like some exponential curve and it just keeps accelerating year after year after year? And then next thing you know, it's like we go to bed one night and we wake up and like the next year is already there.
Dude, I'm glad I'm getting old. I don't want to see that when it starts to really start like taking shape. Oh, hell, man. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in for our crazy, weird weekend stream. We've got a lot of weird stuff tonight. Joe Joseph is still playing about with his Yandex. You're having real fun with that website, Joe, aren't you?
It's just something, you kind of pick a topic and say, okay, what am I going to look at? And, you find some stuff. The nice thing about it is you find these alternate sites to, say, YouTube, where then we can go ahead and share the video with everybody without fear of a copyright strike, because it's technically, it's not YouTubeage. So we're going for broke tonight, aren't we?
You see, I don't really think you comprehend the copyright laws all that great. I don't think it really depends if it's YouTube's content or not. It's the owner of said content, wherever it comes from, whatever website it may be on. So yes, we will be spinning the copyright roulette tonight, Joe.
Kev, again, I just want to say, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Are you just trying to like meme magic me? Is that what it is here, Joe? By meme,
no, sir. I have absolutely no ulterior motives at all.
No?
None at all. No.
And before we go away today, we have got the most hilarious, the most ridiculous fight between two, can I say men, Joe, really, after what we witnessed earlier on? No.
Negative.
No. It's a fight between two individuals. That's all we can say. And we'll leave that for before we sign off today.
And that's even being
extremely generous.
Yes, very generous.
Very generous. But before we launch off into our unplanned stream of unconsciousness, yes, remember, if you want to become a member of the channel, please hit the join button, become a Wookiee, and get yourself all of our crazy emojis. And if you want to support the stream, we've got Super Chat, we've got stickers, and my personal favorite, the PayPal. So then, with that said, Joe, where do we start tonight? Do we start with the ridiculous law that they're trying to pass over in America? Or do we go to straight to the alien woo?
Well, why don't we get the law thing out of the way, considering it's really, I personally don't think there's any chance of it passing. I think it's more of a symbolic thing.
You see, but my point being, right, when we see this...
But it puts it out there.
But when we see this, right, and this is my message to America and to Americans, bearing in mind you've got an election coming up this year, okay? You know me, I don't get very political. However, when you're sending somebody to Washington to do your bidding and represent you, you would hope that they spend their time, I don't know, a little more valuably than the guy from Vermont. Yes. Democrat lawmaker introduces a bill to ban cell phones for people under the age of 21. So,
okay, this is another great example, though, of punishing the whole for the sins of the stupid, if you will. I mean, seriously, if you think about it, you get what you deserve. It's like every action
deserves
there's a reaction, right? So if you're texting and looking at your phone while driving, then you get what you deserve.
But we've already got laws for that, Joe. We haven't got laws.
But here's the thing. The way the rules are set up, right? Somebody does this. They either pay the ultimate price or they pay a very heavy price. And when you do that, right, because there's, like you said, there's already laws on the books. They go to prison for manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter or whatever. They get sued by the families for damages or the person themselves.
That's not my point. They're wanting to ban. This dude thinks he can ban cell phones for anyone under the age of 21. Not talking about killing people with them. Not talking about any car crashes.
No, just an outright ban.
Outlawed.
It's more puritanical bullshit, really, if you think about it. And I find it interesting that it's coming from Vermont, but let me tell you something about Vermont. Vermont is probably, in terms of, it's weird. They're very progressive when it comes to some things, but on the flip side, they're extremely puritanical. And this is one of those things. Why those young people? Why they can't handle this? We need to take it away. It's just like vaping and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, and isn't Vermont, Bernie Sanders stomping ground?
He's New Hampshire. If I remember right.
It says here that, Scott, they would be giving them, if anyone was caught using it under the age of 21, $1,000 fine and jail time if this was to go through. And let me add, like Joe said in opening, there's probably little to no chance that this will ever see the light of day. But my point was,
not.
These people that are meant to be there working for you, doing your bidding, doing your thing, they're sitting putting together these absolutely nonsensical, going to go nowhere pieces of legislation, and then standing there like, oh, look at me. Look how good I am. I'm representing Mr. and Mrs. America right here. It's crazy.
Well, first of all, I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't ban anything because people are going to find a way around it to begin with, right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
What are they going to do? They're going to go door to door, Scott. They're going to do armed, taking the phones back off people.
Yeah, I mean, how do you even enforce something like that, right? I mean, it's actually pretty ridiculous, and then you're going to end up having a cell phone black market, basically, for people under 21.
Even so, right? You think everybody now is going to just stop? No. So what are you going to do? You're going to start having paddy wagons out there and just starting arresting people en masse?
Phone detention centers. Go to the mobile.
Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's the most idiotic thing. It will never pass. It won't see the light of day. It won't. I mean, I don't even know why it's getting headlines, to be quite honest with you, outside of just the sheer stupidity of it.
Now you're getting close to why I brought it up, because this is just beyond bizarre.
Yeah.
Why is this even a thing? And
I don't know.
That's why I framed it in the light of, when you're really sitting down thinking who you're going to send up to Washington to go and represent, you just bear in mind that they're doing nothing to represent anyone. They're just sitting there trying to think of things to make themselves feel important, to justify being there. It's crazy. And it says, get this though, quote, in light of dangerous and life-threatening consequences of cell phone use by young people, it's clear that people under 21 years of age are not developmentally mature enough to safely possess them, the bill says. So under the age of 21, you're not developmentally mature enough to possess them. What age can you join the military at, Joe?
18.
Okay, so you're mentally...
And soon to be, and I think they're talking about dropping it to 16.
Okay, so you would be mentally developed or mentally mature enough to go and fight for your country, but not old enough to have a phone of your own, son. That's too dangerous for you. You see how ridiculous it is, guys?
It is absolutely unbelievably stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the cigarette thing too, right? I think if you're old enough to fight in combat and die for your country and handle heavy weapons and drive a tank and fire machine guns and fire mortars and
All that
guide
good stuff.
bombs and all that good stuff. But God forbid you spark up a cigarette. No. Can't be having any. Can't be doing any of that. So, I think they should just hold it to the military standard. Are you old enough to go into the military? Yes. Well, then you're old enough to do anything else. You're old enough to do it all.
Yeah, I'd say
I think.
if you're old enough to be doing that, yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's ridiculous. This is just more stupidity. This is more like Joe said, puritanical bullcrap. The government knows what's best for everyone else, and they're just trying to blanket a one sort of.
It's funny though, Scott, seen cell phone response teams. Where is he? I've seen somebody down at the end of the street. He's using one, honestly.
Like I said, I mean, how do you even enforce that, right? Like, how do you even determine who has a cell phone, or what? Do they start drawing up a database? Do they start contacting all of the cell phone providers and are like, who's on the family plan? Who is on the family plan? Is your son on the family plan? How old is your son? You're gonna have to send that cell phone back. We're gonna do our cell phone buyback.
It's crazy, right? Totally crazy.
God,
So for anyone under 21 in America right now, don't worry about it. Your cell phone is very, very safe. It won't be going away anytime soon. Now, that said, should there maybe be a cap on the time? Maybe that younger people, I don't know, maybe...
No,
No?
because prohibition doesn't work. It never does.
I'm talking about a cap on social media time, dude. Social media.
It's called parents.
Yes.
It's called parents.
Parenting.
Okay, you can't force parents to be parents, and you just it's all about getting.
It's all about personal responsibility.
It's all about getting people to embrace that. Really, truly is. Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough. It's tough, but whenever it comes to the point to where people start running to the government to solve problems, that's
it never works out, man.
It never works out.
Social media should come with a health warning, though, because if I've got to be met with a health warning anytime I go and gamble online,
right? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's fair.
Because it's
tell people what the risks are.
Yep.
You have to be fully informed, right? So maybe that's what you do, is that you have the risks available so that people can educate themselves and make an informed decision. I don't know.
It's definitely a way
It's
of
like,
looking at it.
What are the nine most scary words to hear? I'm with the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Only if you're in America. The government over here love us.
Oh, of course they do.
Yeah, they love us to
I'm
bits.
sure they do.
They do.
They love you.
They love us
They
that
love you long
much,
time,
right?
Kev.
They love us that much that our astronauts over here, they know. Look, they know that aliens exist. This comes from Sky today, and this sets us up nicely for Joe's very strange Russian alien video. And it says here, Dr. Helen Sharman says there's no two ways that aliens exist, and that's possible. We simply can't see them. So then the first British astronaut to go to space has claimed that aliens exist, and it is possible that they are living among us on Earth. Now, speaking to the Observer magazine, quite well respected, Dr. Helen Sharman said there's no two ways that aliens exist. There are so many billions of stars out there in the universe that there must be all sorts of different forms of life. So Dr. Sharman said that although aliens do not need to be made up of carbon and nitrogen like humans, it's possible they're here right now and we simply can't see them. Now, that fits in with what somebody like David Icke would say, guys. He would say that we're limited to this very, very small band of light that we can see. And if we were able to, just tune ourselves up one way or down the other way, see just a little bit more, there's all these things round about us that we just have no idea about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it does make sense because I mean, we look at life through the prism of what we observe here on our planet, right? So the majority of species and well, pretty much everything, it's all carbon-based life forms, here on Earth. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case anywhere else in the universe. I mean, life could probably take the form of many, many different things and utilize different things for sustenance, like we use oxygen to breathe. Well, maybe there's something else out there that doesn't need oxygen. Maybe it depends on something else, right? And so life could take the form of many, many different things that we just can't comprehend. It'd be like maybe we land on a planet and we don't see any what we would perceive as life forms, but maybe the crystals or something on the planet hold some kind of consciousness or some kind of life or something like
yeah,
that.
like the new Voltron series, right? And they get their crystals that power the castle and the lions themselves from this planet that's alive, and it actually grows the crystals. It's actually part of it.
Yes. Yeah, so see,
And
like,
you'd never know.
yeah, where we would just go, oh, it's just a piece of rock, it's just a piece of quartz crystal or whatever.
Right.
It could be an actual organism. It could be a living thing, So, yeah, she's right. I mean, we probably do have some kind of alien life here on our planet that we're misinterpreting as something else, or we just can't even see it. Like Kev said, maybe they also exist in some kind of a frequency spectrum or band that we just can't see as well, and they may be amongst us and we don't even know it.
Yep, big time. And she's a 56-year-old, worked as a chemist before making history, British astronaut. And Joe has found a video that we're going to take a look at. And these may or may not have alien life in them, right, Joe?
Well, that's for sure. There's no way of really telling whether or not it's real, but I would be very, very interested in finding out what people think about these videos they're about to see.
Some of one or two of them that we looked at are a bit weird altogether.
Definitely.
So we're going to take a look at this. We'll maybe have to debunk them. We'll maybe have to, I don't know, we'll take a look. Here we go. Get rid of that music. That could be a problem.
Yeah.
Here. Ready?
You see, I'm really not liking it.
Is that good for you?
We'll put the white hats on. The white hats will do.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying this whole shaky, like zooming in and losing focus kind of stuff. And my first thoughts is, and it's confirmation bias, it's fake. But that's just my initial thoughts. What do you think, guys? Come
Same.
Scott?
Yeah, first one looks CGI to me.
Yeah.
That shaky camera with the focus going in and out.
Yep.
That's a very common sort of
sign.
tactic that's used in CGI. Focuses. It's to make it try to look more like it's just a person that's just scrambling the camera and zooming in and stuff. But yeah, that's.
I mean, even there you've got like the shadow coming off the side. But that entity that walked out, it's got no shadow coming off it.
Oh yeah.
And then hardly anything. I don't know. Why wouldn't you have zoomed in by now?
What is that? Look at that. Oh, it's
good
like
CGI.
Oh look! And it's taking off. It just goes out. Oh yeah, no.
And then the dude's still there.
Yeah.
Dude's
I'm
still
not
there.
buying that.
I'm not buying this one. Oh, okay, I'm not buying it. No. Sorry. Fake as hell.
Next. This is the weird one. This is one me and Joe just couldn't really make out.
Yeah.
This is weird.
What is that, Scotty?
Whoa.
Can I just say, if you were going to fake something, would you not fake it to look like something
Yeah.
like would you not? You know what I'm saying though? You wouldn't like just have
based on a frame of reference,
yeah.
but like it's kind of, you can see through it. It's hazy.
So
And
it
so-
looks like it's like
Joe
almost
said,
like a plasma being.
I
or
think you were
some-
right when you said to me at the start, Joe. It looks like a dragon.
like a dragon.
It's got the two legs, right, and it looks like they're wing-ish, but it's not a
Yeah.
dragon.
it looks like a humanoid figure in the middle with its arms extended out and some kind of wings or something.
Or something.
Yeah, something weird like that.
The only thing is, if you're going to make something fake, why wouldn't you make it like to look like something? That just
That's why it's got me so.
weird.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna go out on a ledge and say it's real.
Ooh. I'm still gonna say CGI on that, possibly. I don't know.
I'm gonna.
Are you on the fence?
I'm gonna question mark it. My mom has just messaged. Looks like a shadow man. I tell you what, if I ever get a shadow man in my house that size, I'll need more than Bill Bean to help. Dang, dude. Right, so next one.
I'm on the fence about it, but I'm leaning more towards CGI.
I'm on the fence about it, and I'd be with you, Scott, probably. I mean, look, is there like... I've no idea what that's meant to be.
I say real.
Okay.
Right, here we go. This is Badula, Sri Lanka.
Mysterious angel caught on camera.
Oh. I don't know. His wing's not going a bit slow? I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's zoomed right in. That's dragonish. I don't know about angelish. That's a big angel if it's an angel, Joe.
That's a biggie.
Big angel.
Nephilim.
Now this one is a little more interesting.
It is because it's zoomed when
Yeah.
it's like blurring in and out. It all goes in time and things.
Yeah, and really, you're talking about a really distant shot, and it's in the clouds, and
now when it comes to CGI, that's a little more difficult to try to get a smooth fade, of something to appear to look like it's moving into the clouds or behind the clouds.
yeah.
And stuff like that. So, I'll entertain that one. I think I'll leave that one open to.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That was a weird one. And you can't really say, well, was it an angel or whatever? It was a flying creature of some, but you can't really nail down like what exactly it is. Maybe it was
some
Mothman.
size. Must have been some size with the way he zoomed in. That looked a good distance away. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe it was Mothman's dad or something out there.
Mothman.
Mothman.
So next up, we're going to Norway. 2 alien creatures caught on camera. June 2011. Ooh.
Oh boy.
That's kind of creepy, dude.
That's Slender-Man-ish creepy.
Yeah, very much so.
That's like,
That looked more like a rake.
yeah, that's more cryptid creep.
Ooh, look at that.
Okay, yeah. Now this is some pretty good stuff right here, and because
That's
Mm,
pretty weird.
yeah, I'm with you, Kev. This is like some rake sort of
Yeah.
You think so?
rake,
Yeah.
like Spanish sort of cryptid weird entity kind of thing, as opposed to
Now,
like
this
alien.
next one is a rake. But this next one me and Joe have seen, you'll see in a minute, Scott. This is weird. This comes from October
Yeah.
2000.
Navajo Nation.
Yep, Navajo. Here we go. This'll freak you out, man. Look at that thing.
Whoa.
That's weird, right? And then just nothing.
And like that, it was gone.
And like that, it had raked out. It had gone out of there.
Oh, I'm on the fence about this one because that was a little too clear. But sometimes, you know what I mean? Like,
Look at that's a weird kind of.
Very weird. Very weird.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know that's an on the fence one for me too, because it's just so defined and
yeah.
oh,
and again, none of this is outside of anyone's capability to reproduce. You know.
No. Oh no.
And here's the thing, you know, we're so used to seeing grainy, fuzzy footage that when we are presented with something that actually is clear, we immediately go, "That's too clear."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Somebody in the chat room says a skinwalker, but that definitely fits there, I would say.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah. Now, you know, I'm still extremely skeptical on that one. I'm gonna say CGI on that
I
one.
agree.
I'm with Leona in the chat room. It's creepy. Whether it's real or not, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if it is CGI, that was really, really cool.
So
That's the fact.
This one's lightning outside Los Angeles or in Los Angeles. Let's see what it captures. I'm not seeing none when it's lighting up the sky there.
Let's see.
No.
Whoa, hold on.
The cloud flamingo that was there, is that what she's talking
I'm not
about?
sure.
Maybe it has.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Let's see what.
Are we going for Paradoily on that one? Damn.
I'm not seeing it.
Hang on.
You know what I mean? I mean, I see the cloud, but I don't know what the big deal is.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to pause it right on it. Coming up any second now. What?
Right there.
Okay.
Like a serpent. It's supposed to be a serpent. something.
It's a cloud.
Yeah,
Probably a
that's
cloud, right? But that's a pretty clearly defined. You can definitely go. The first thing you're looking at there, your brain
I mean,
goes,
I
snake.
guess, but I've seen clouds that look pretty defined. You know what I mean? That doesn't strike me as odd, personally. You know?
it could be vorticity.
Could be. Yeah.
Now that's a whole lot weirder now.
Now, but look at that. To me, looks like it was messed with. Because
Yeah.
what I'm seeing there and what I saw in that, in you stopping, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. No way. Those pictures are not the same. No way.
No, that looks like somebody just kind of
Somebody freaking photoshopped that or something.
Yeah.
Or
and drop the opacity on it.
Probably.
Photoshop. Yeah. That's
yeah, I don't. That's fake.
Right then, here's one. A flying something. Again, let's see what it looks like first. could be anything.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. The next one's quite good, though. That could be anything. Now, that's just quite good.
Ooh.
Yeah, so in this instance, what this makes me think of, Kev, remember when we played that stadium footage?
Yeah.
Hologram, right? That, how do you know? You know what I mean? The only thing is you're talking about a long area, so it couldn't be really a hologram because you would have to have mega projectors all over the place in that region for that to happen. So I'm going to say no to a hologram, but I don't know if it's, if it's CGI or what. I can't tell.
I'll say more than likely CGI, but I will say, however, there's a lot of similarities between this one and the original one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. I agree.
And the slow flapping of the wings.
Yeah.
And the body was kind of elongated, or
Yeah.
like that.
No,
So
I agree with you. Yep.
So I mean, I'll make that little correlation.
It looks very like the Game of Thrones one.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
And
it's very good.
I will also throw out the possibility of undiscovered species and possibly we've talked on here before, and I've talked about the possibility of pterodactyls and stuff still being around, right? In the Yosemite National Park and all of that stuff.
How do they stay off the radar for so long, though? And being so large and so sightly, you know what I mean? It's just, to me, it seems almost out of the realm of possibility that these things are able to hide themselves for that long.
It was a theory that I saw proposed on a show called Mysteries of the Outdoors, and they were getting into a lot of the missing 411 stuff of people going missing in national parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were talking about all of the people that have actually gone missing in Yosemite National Park, and they were discussing this woman that had went missing in, I think, 2015 or something, and she was literally walking right behind her husband. They were out taking pictures and stuff like that, and she was literally right behind him, and then when he turned around, she was gone. And he was like, whoa. And like literally within 2 hours, I mean, he was on this immediately because he couldn't find his wife. He immediately contacted the park rangers, and within 2 hours, they already had helicopters in the air and all of this stuff, and they were looking for her. They could not find her anywhere. And I think it was like a month or so later, they found her body in a very, very hard to reach area. Like, you couldn't just walk down there. It would take like the most rugged of fishermen and sort of adventure types to go into this area. And they don't know how her body got there. Like, they don't even know how she would have got there. And so the theory was proposed that maybe it was a prey animal, like a pterodactyl or something, just swooped down and grabbed her and then just dropped her in this area. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. That's hard because, again, you would think that the odds are, as time goes on, they get better and better that these things are seen. You know what I mean? So it would just make sense to me that it's too long of a time span for them not to be seen. You know?
Get this, guys. Get this right, because forgotten dinosaurs are now returning from the edge of extinction after sightings in U.S. rivers. So, maybe they're making a comeback. Who knows? You never know, Joe. The comeback of the pterodactyl.
The reason this theory was actually proposed is because they were in that same show. They were discussing two gentlemen who had been out there at Yosemite National Park, and they were standing there by their car, and they looked up and they saw what appeared to be a dragon-like creature flying towards them, and it freaked them the hell out, and they booked out of there. And they said it had a really long head with a sort of, basically what they described
Yeah.
was that.
I don't poo-poo it, not at all. It just seems rather odd to me that these things haven't been seen. You know, it's the same thing with like Nessie. If Nessie is truly real, then you would have to think that we would see her if that's truly the place where she lives. You know? Now, if that's not the case, then okay, but it just, again, these large creatures, it's crazy to me that there isn't more sightings of these things relative to the fact that there's more people.
Yeah, or is their population so low? Is there so few of them that just spotting them in general is a very, very rare thing, right?
Right.
Like the Tasmanian tiger. Oh, come on, that's CGI.
That's fake as hell.
It's
So
not
that's-
on nobody can see it. I was checking it out to see if I could find a good one. Don't you worry about that.
Like the Tasmanian tiger, right? They thought that thing was extinct. And then now, I mean, people, there's like a few sightings of it, and they think that it's not extinct. You might actually look that up, Kev, the Tasmanian tiger. And it's a weird looking animal. And you'll see they like sightings and stuff like that. They used to be in zoos back in the 1800s and stuff before they went extinct. And
Can't play it. It's Russia today.
yeah. But you know, so I mean, I'm always open to that possibility of animals that people think were extinct or still actually being around, just in very, very small numbers and just kind of hidden away and very, you know.
Looking at that there, it's definitely going to be making a comeback. Cloning the Tasmanian tiger. So,
Wow.
you know, that's one way they could bring back the old dinosaurs as well, I suppose, right?
But can you? You know, we assume that when they existed, that the Earth was the same. And the thing is we bring back some of these creatures. We don't know if they can live in a area where atmospheric pressure is different and oxygen content is different and things like that. So I would think that if we do have to do that, you're going to have to do some DNA work too to make them adapt to this environment.
Yeah, like if you were going to go all Jurassic Park and, you know, bring back a T-Rex or whatever, you know, does the oxygen and CO2 content and air pressure and all of that of our current atmosphere, would it be able to sustain it? Would it be able to breathe? Because, you know, it evolved in a time when, like Joe said, the Earth and just the entire dynamics of the planet were completely different. So maybe it wouldn't be feasible. Maybe they would manage to get something born, but then as soon, you know, it wouldn't be able to breathe or it wouldn't be able to survive. And that's when humans would go, oh, well, let's just go ahead and splice a little bit of crocodile.
You know, if they've got if they can get their hands on DNA, and that's going to be hard to get the DNA, even if they've got the bones, but you know there's going to be a scientist out there that's like, I know what we can do with this. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, look at the woolly mammoth, right? The way that it could, because they're talking about bringing back the woolly mammoth.
Yep.
Well, the way they're going to do that is by splicing it with elephant, right? Because the elephant is its closest.
Yeah, right. And that would in turn give it the ability to adapt to this environment.
Yeah, because then, you know, it's got a little bit of elephant in it, enough to keep it alive in our current sort of environment. And also, I think in order to fertilize it or to grow it in an egg, they have to use an elephant egg or something.
You'll never guess who's bringing back the woolly mammoth. You will never guess who it is. It's our good friend George Church, the creepy
I'll be
bioengineer.
doggone.
Oh,
Yeah, he's the dude bringing it back.
It's Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, it's Big Grizzly. Yeah, because we need them. We've been struggling without woolly mammoths like that kicking about. Hey,
I don't know about
What
Kev.
would the advantage be to bringing the woolly mammoth back, out of curiosity?
Look, I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally looking forward to my new woolly mammoth coat.
well, that's true. You could make a good wardrobe full of
And the
coats out of
tusks.
that.
The tusks, we could, a lot of ivory, a lot of piano keys can be made.
But that means more people can set up groups to protect the woolly mammoth tusks, and because there's going to be poachers out there.
Oh,
after
that
them.
would be great for the woke crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be their new mascot.
Oh, not a woke woolly. No, we don't want a woke woolly.
Are they going to be running a campaign like, don't let the woolly mammoth go extinct again?
Yeah.
Just making woolly mammoths again.
we make them extinct again. We'll have to clone them again.
What else
And
could
again.
we bring back? I think the pterodactyl's a good one to bring back, though.
Why?
Why not? Why not? Out of all the dinosaurs, the pterodactyl's cool.
No, out of all the dinosaurs,
No, it's got a cool name. Anything that begins with a P that sounds like pterodactyl's cool. The
Brontosaurus was a gentle giant.
The Brontosaurus, a gentle giant.
Joe just wants to bring back the Brontosaurus so he can do the Fred Flintstone like
Now you
slide.
got it. Now you got it.
Yeah.
I just want my own.
You want your own dinosaur?
My own Brontosaurus.
We could have imagine you could have illegal dinosaur fights. You need to find somewhere really remote for that, though, if you're going to get away with it.
I'm looking for a gentle giant, and you're talking about dinosaur fights. And
I know. I'm thinking dinosaur fight club.
You're triggering the PETA crowd, Kev. You're triggering the PETA crowd. No.
I suppose so. Yes, indeed.
You're triggering me. This isn't good.
A bit like even AOC, she's been triggering that crowd. I heard she'd bought herself a dog.
Did she?
Yeah, the whole PETA crowd, they're getting angry at her for something. I don't know what.
Well,
There'll
they
be
should
something.
because she lives in a little apartment. What kind of quality of life is it for that poor dog?
No, don't pick on her for that, dude.
Don't get to see grass or anything like that.
Oh,
Come on.
Now you'll make me cry. Come on, man. You can't do that.
It's like having a flat in Glasgow.
You give me a woolly mammoth in one hand and then you just rip it away in the other by making me feel bad about AOC's dog.
Let me be clear. All right. I didn't give you a woolly mammoth.
Not yet.
No.
You know what? Kev will find a way to keep a woolly mammoth in that flat.
Probably find it. Everything else is in Kevin's bedroom, so I could probably squeeze one in there. Who knows what may be in there already? There may be pterodactyls, T-Rexes, I don't know.
If you've ever played D&D, you can always just put it in your bag of holding.
There you go. Job done. Sorted. So we're not thinking Jurassic Park anytime soon. I'd like that. But I tell you what, though, I like your idea or that story. I'm not saying I like the story. I'd hate to be the guy who lost his wife, obviously. But that way of thinking, something, just plucking them out, just out of nowhere and gone. I mean, that ticks a lot of boxes for the 411 stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, nobody really knows what happened, but then they sort of brought that up in comparison with those two guys who saw that sort of dragon-like flying creature, and then they just kind of proposed that idea, and I was like, yeah, I've never even thought of it from that standpoint of maybe some kind of a prey creature that is snatching people and then flying away with them. That would explain why a lot of these people are found in weird locations, and haven't people been found at like high altitudes when normally when a person is lost they go downhill, right? They don't tend to climb uphill. So if you had some kind of a prey animal, usually they nest up in high elevations, right? So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting sort of angle to look at.
No, it's a different kind of take on it as well. I do like that. I think we'll talk more about the missing 411 tomorrow. I think we should get into that. We should dedicate a full stream to the weird missing people and how they go missing. It's bizarre, some of these stories. It truly is. So, Joe, what else have we got here? Because you've brought a whole heap of stuff here, man. We've got particle accelerators. We've got... What else we got here? We've got China and a second sun. We've also got 10 of the most bizarre crimes from around the world. Yes. Joda looks deep in thought.
How about 10 of the most bizarre crimes from around the world? This brought to you by listverse.com.
This is bizarre.
It says, yes, whether we'd like to admit it or not, it says, most of us love messed up crime stories, which is why true crime is an entertainment genre in its own right. It doesn't mean that we're all messed up in the head. We love these stories because they make us realize how different we are from the people who go out and do those horrible things. There's a psychological angle too. It's fascinating to know how, say, a serial killer's mind works. The following weird crime stories from around the world, however, don't have any of those things. A lot actually sound like pranks. None of them would ever be considered for their own Netflix series. And as difficult as it is to explain why anyone would even do any of these things, let alone sit and explore the psychological motives behind them, though they definitely be noted for how inexplicable and bizarre they are. So 10, sand theft.
Getting done for stealing sand? Seriously?
Apparently. It says here, the beach is loved by many. And why not? It's a social place with a bunch of people chilling and having a good time, unless you visit some frozen beach in Norway or something. The view is gorgeous, and looking at the seemingly endless ocean helps you calm down no matter how hard your day's been. Not everyone shares that opinion, though, especially not the people who have taken to stealing sand from beaches across the world, a problem that apparently has been growing in recent times. Sand theft is an increasingly serious problem for authorities around the world and is apparently high in demand due to its use in construction. Sardinia has instituted hefty fines for stealing sand, but they're still catching people trying to take some home for some reason. It's not like one bottle of sand can be used to construct anything, of course. In many developing countries, sand is gradually coming up as a highly coveted commodity due to its use in construction and its growing scarcity, which may make stealing some off a beach sound a bit less weird. Countless countries like India have full-fledged sand mafias. You probably wouldn't want to run into. Wow, that's crazy.
No, definitely not the sand mafia.
Yeah, right. About number 9. Naked man trashes house and gets stuck in a vent.
Serves them right. Serves them right.
That's a weird crime. It says Canada isn't known for its gruesome crimes, though it does have quite a few bizarre cases with questionable motivations like this one. It all started in December 2015 when some people in British Columbia started hearing noises from the house next door. They reported it and notified the family of the house it belonged to, though it only got weirder from here. Authorities found a man stuck in a vent. He was wrapped in insulation, possibly to keep himself warm, though that wouldn't have been a necessity if he wasn't also buck naked. Now, on further inspection, the whole house was found to be trashed, and the man was assumed to have been living in the ceiling based on the large hole in it, from which he clearly fell down. Now, police weren't exactly clear on why he ransacked the house or what he was doing in the vents when they found him, or what he was doing in general. They were, however, clear on when he got naked at some point in the middle of his destruction spree, as they found his underwear in the toilet. That showed that he didn't come naked for the job, which would have been weird, or at least weirder that it already was, though it really doesn't explain what the job was and why he was there at all.
And these...
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say drugs were involved.
Yeah, probably so.
I would imagine so, right? You'd have to be. There's like a sentence with meth that's been taken out of that story. Because meth was the common denominator in a lot of the Florida man stories.
Yeah.
Yep. So
but
it makes
thinking
it sound
that
like he was living in the ceiling, like a long period of time, not
Or
just
like the attic, maybe. Maybe he was like a migrant or a vagrant living in the attic. Oftentimes you hear of people living in these houses, and sometimes people don't even know they're there, and they've lived there for months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's possible.
It's kind of I've heard quite a few stories like that. That seems to be kind of a common thing where, like, when the family goes out or whatever, that's when whoever is taking up residence in the attic or whatever.
How creepy is that, man?
Yeah. And then before they get home, they just go up there and they just stay quiet and just, it's like, ooh.
Oh, no, that's super creepy, dude.
Yeah, like there was a story in Japan of this guy that was living in this woman's closet for like 2 years and she didn't even know it.
She enjoyed it.
That's crazy.
Number 8, a cheese black market.
Yes, it says we admit that cheese is good, and no matter how much of it we eat, we never get tired of it. It's a widely acknowledged opinion outside of those who are intolerant to milk products. And the freedom to go to the store and get more cheese whenever we want is one of modern society's greatest gifts. Ever imagine how bad it would be if it wasn't readily available?
Never thought about it.
Well, you don't have to, as that's exactly the situation in Russia. Due to all the sanctions and general geopolitical goodwill it's managed to lose over the last decade or so, it's probably the only country in the world with a thriving cheese black market due to its severe shortage and high prices. And they regularly arrest local criminal cheese rings. Now, you think that a cheese black market would be some sort of joke, but they're really serious about it. And the cheese shortage has attracted quite a bit of global attention in recent years.
Imagine these big, burly, muscly Russian gangsters asking you if you want to buy half a pound of cheese or they're going to break your leg.
So crazy, man. Number 7. Stealing Komodo dragons. In case you've never seen it in a viral animal video on the internet, the Komodo dragon is the largest lizard species on the planet. Bull, after some of the video we saw.
Yeah.
It's native to just a handful of Indonesian islands, though, and thank God for that. It looks like the living embodiment of death, and a bunch of them is certainly not something you'd want to run into on a casual hike. You probably wouldn't willingly go near one if you had a choice. And even then, you'd keep your distance because just look at those things. And yet some people aren't just willing to go near them. They're also stealing them. Komodo dragon theft has turned into a big enough problem for authorities to completely ban tourists from the island of Komodo starting in January 2020. And end date for the ban has not been set. Even so, why would someone steal a Komodo dragon? Not only are they dangerous, but they don't have pretty fur to be sold or anything else of use that the look of a pure cold death in their eyes. Some people think that they must be useful in traditional Eastern medicine, which may be why each one of them goes for $35,000 and above. We just hope that the case is that no one actually keeps them as pets. I don't know. I mean, are they that dangerous?
Yeah. Yeah.
You imagine one of them life-sized, like human-sized, Scott, walking bipedal, like that skin, that cold, dark, killer eyes on it.
The toxicity of their bite, of the you don't want to be bit by a Komodo dragon. Let's just put it that way. It will absolutely just mess you up.
Wow.
And, yeah, they have one of the most toxic bites like on the planet. It pretty much whatever its saliva touches, it pretty much rots. So
that is not good.
If you get bit by a Komodo dragon, you're pretty much going to slowly rot to death. From the bite point. Hey, maybe they're stealing them because of the whole. Maybe church wants one.
Maybe the royal family are just getting pissed at some of their Distant relatives getting stolen. Ah, I went there.
If we're going for the whole Jurassic Park scenario, maybe they need some kimono DNA for something.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe get some modern day reptile DNA, put that in with the old DNA, then that gets around all of the problems with that. And now I'm terrified. And again, imagine one of them stepping off a spaceship, Scott walking on two legs, talking with that fork tongue thing going on. Ah, dude, game over. Yeah, exactly, my man, exactly. And you think of the different conditions that skin like that could like tolerate on whatever its planet may be like. You see, life doesn't have to evolve like us. This is what really, really baffles me. You can take a mixture of anything. It's random, Scott, right? And what's taught me that more than anything is No Man's Sky, the computer game. Yeah, you can get various things. It's just unbelievable. But those things, I didn't know that they like could harm you, like the saliva, like you're saying. But I would never have been stealing one in the first place, dude.
I was watching one of those BBC nature shows, and they were talking about the kimono dragon, and so what they do, like, there was like a water buffalo or something like that, you know, those big water buffaloes. And what they'll do is, because the kimono's not big enough to take one down, they'll go by and they'll bite him on the leg. And then
By
what they do,
1,000 dragon cuts.
yeah, they'll bite him on the leg, and then what they do is, like, a pack of kimono dragons will just follow the water buffalo around for like 2 weeks until he dies.
Dang, dude. They play the long game. They play the long game.
They play the long game, and it's so creepy because you just see these kimono dragons following this thing around. It's like death following this thing around until it kills over and dies. So
they are like the royals then. Number 6, selling corpses on the black market. Now, I would imagine this is a crime most places. It says here that we all deal with the death of loved ones in our own way, depending on where we live and the traditions of the land. Death rituals vary across the world. Through in China, a particular type of ritual is causing people to dig up corpses and sell them on the black market. Ghost marriages. In China, as well as Taiwan and other Chinese communities, marrying someone who's dead is a way to put their soul at peace. And some people have taken to robbing graves and selling them in the corpse black market. If you're wondering how much it would be, somewhere around $15,000. Wow. Now, like it says here, that explains why people would go doing that. Yep. 15 grand, boys. You can get yourself a corpse bride or groom.
How the heck do you like that? That's crazy.
It's not good. It's not good.
Not at all. Plus, of course, you know, then you've got organ harvesting. And they got this thing going on right now. Let me tell you something. What happened in World War II with the concentration camps is going on, and even worse in China right now with the Muslim Chinese population there. They are jailing them and then harvesting their organs. And when they do, they don't even give them anesthesia or anything. They just cut it right out of them.
Not so good.
It's crazy, man. I mean, you're talking about atrocities that are unspeakable, and no one's doing anything about them. Similar to that during World War II, when they knew that those things were going on, but they chose to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Not good, man.
Yeah, there was I remember a few years ago that the Chinese authorities had basically, I want to say the military had moved into this village or the city on the outskirts of China, you know, one of these Muslim cities or whatever, and like there was a total media blackout of what happened after they moved in there. You know, they tried to say, well, they were planning some kind of uprising against the Chinese government or something like that, but once they moved in there, like, you don't even know what happened to the people there or anything like that. And like Joe said, it could be this stuff. They could have just rounded everyone up, took their organs or committed these atrocities, and nobody knew anything about it. Nobody really.
The black market for organs is quite extensive. What's interesting, though, is over here in the United States, right? If you need a liver transplant, it takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years often. In China, if you need a liver transplant, kidney transplant, you have it the next day because they harvest it from some of those people. And so there was a huge investigation that took place. And some people really put their lives on the line, going and making phone calls and doing things and exposing this. And Scott, I mean, what happened and what's happening over there is unbelievable. They keep people in jail and caged up until they need the organ.
And it's not just the Muslim population there as well. It's the people that practice Falun Gong.
Yeah, that's right. That's primarily them, Scotty. And the thing is, with AI and their extensive database on everybody, they know exactly what they are, what blood type, what kind of match they are to anybody else. So because they have this system in place, folks, they are able to know who's a match for what, where, how, and who. The AI already knows all this. I mean, it's unbelievable, Scott.
Basically, though, if you're not lockstep with the Chinese government and you're not playing ball, then you're fair game for them, and it doesn't matter what you are. If you're
absolutely right,
if you're Christian, Muslim, Falun Gong, whatever, you're on the chopping block. If you're not playing ball, which is well, it's how it goes in an authoritarian system like that.
Big time. Well, get this one. This is not looking good. This is going to get people angry, I think. It'll probably get me angry. Serial cat shaver. What is that all about? There are many serious crime stories that start off with a pet like a cat, though this is definitely not one of them, even though cats are definitely involved. In a town in England, it was reported in January 2016 that someone was accosting cats and shaving fur off them, even though we can't think of any conceivable reason as to why anyone would do that, because they're idiots, they're evil, they're assholes. That's what I can think of. 2 cats were found with big patches of missing fur, as though somebody had a trimmer, wanted to do something with it, but wasn't very good at it. The cats were very understandably left shaken by the whole ordeal. The cats weren't hurt in any other way, suggesting that the shaving may have been the ultimate goal. The questionable motives of the assailants aside, it wasn't the first time somebody had shaved a neighbourhood cat. The locals remembered another case around a year before this one, when a different cat was found to have been mysteriously shaved in a similar manner. Whoever the serial cat shaver might be, we sure hope they get caught soon, so that they can at least understand their motives a bit better. I'm thinking they better get caught soon before they advance onto shaving or doing bad things to humans. That's what I'm thinking there. Not think usually you find the start on animals, stuff like that. What the hell? Why would you just randomly shave one patch of fur off? But it's not even funny. It's not even a good prank.
I mean, at least they're not killing the cats. I mean,
that's not even, no, not at least they're not killing. It's awful. Why would you shave a cat?
Still, yeah, it's still terrible. I'm just saying, I guess it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, you're right.
Could be,
it reminds me of that Jackass segment where they just go ahead and, you know what I mean?
Given a lot of the stories I've seen of people doing horrible things to cats, this is kind of on the lower scale of, I think, things that could really be
wine terrorism then. In case you aren't in the loop, the French are still continuously hitting the streets every weekend to protest some of Macron's policies. That's not something new, as the French are known for their willingness to protest. They are. The French, when they protest, they do it right. This isn't about the yellow vests, though, but a lesser-known group in the south of the country with weirder motives. So Krav, a group of balaclava-clad militants, in the region of Languedoc have been making the news for an entirely new type of resistance against imported wines for a while now. Termed wine terrorism by the local media, their methods include vandalising the offices of various wine importers to take a stand against imported wine, especially from Spain. Now, they caused many spills around the port area that the authorities have had to clean up. For example, a picture from 2016. Look at that, Joe. The streets are swimming in wine. Oh,
Wow.
There was a I want to say at the turn of the 20th century, right?
they've even used explosives to get to the stuff, man.
That's unbelievable. At the turn of the 20th century in Boston, there was something called the Great Molasses Flood. Apparently, it was just that. A big, giant tank of molasses broke free. And I mean, it literally flooded a couple of streets with hot molasses. A lot of people got hurt and killed from just, could you imagine being scalded by molasses?
No thanks.
Very similar to being tarred and feathered, right?
Yeah, it killed a lot of people. A lot of people drowned and were burned to death.
Burned to death.
Molasses spill.
Yeah, that's not a good way to die at all.
If there was that much alcohol flowing down a street in Scotland, you would see people down with straws. They'd be snorting it off the ground,
Snorting
man.
it, right? Yeah.
I was about to say, just seeing that picture it brings a tear to my eye.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of drink.
Well, not only that, but could you imagine just like be doing a backstroke in a
look at
sea
it,
of
man.
wine?
Oh, imagine driving through it. Breaks my heart. Stealing bridges.
Could you imagine
is a crime.
Could you imagine the smell of your car afterwards?
Oh,
After driving through that?
Constant
you
reminder.
could never get that smell out.
Well, if you're French, though, I dare say you're pretty much smelling of wine and garlic all day anyway. But moving on, stealing bridges, it's a crime, who knew? What do you think when you see a bridge? Now, while many would reply with absolutely nothing, it's just a bridge, the more curious may ponder how it must have been built or how people used to go from one side to the other before it. And at no point would anyone go, that's beautiful, how do I steal it? As stealing a bridge sounds like something that's not humanly possible. Now, despite that, bridges around the world have been reported stolen overnight with very little explanation as to how it was accomplished.
It happened here in Ohio, too. And what they were doing, they take it down, they scrap it, Kev.
Oh, yeah, gone.
Yep.
This bridge theft has occurred in the Czech Republic, England, Turkey, Joe's Place, and it says the aforementioned case in the Czech Republic, which happened in 2012, involved the dismantling of a 10-ton bridge, which had over 190 meters of track. We wouldn't even be sure where to start if somebody was paying us to do it, as we're not talking some small object you can just steal, load into your truck and drive off with. How do you even dismantle it? How do you transport it? And most importantly, how do you do it without anyone noticing? A good point. Ice theft? Number 2? A crime of ice theft? So
going back to the previous one, it said that the thieves in the Czech, they posed as people hired to demolish the bridge, so they did it in plain sight.
There you go. Shove on an orange vest and away you go. Couple of traffic cones. Get your traffic cones out.
That just shows how easy it is to use appeal to authority to get things done, right? So if people see somebody dressed in an official way, they don't question anything. So if you just show up and like, I'm with the bridge, I'm here to demolish the bridge.
I'm the bridge guy.
Nobody questions it, yeah.
Send in Jeff Bridges. He's the best one on that. So ice theft doesn't mean anything to most of us. Who would bother stealing something as natural and abundantly available as ice anyway? Sure, the phrase could be used in the context of a house party with limited ice. But even then, calling it theft is sort of stretching it. Yes, we know that because of global warming, the Earth's ice caps are also gradually shrinking. But even then, things haven't yet devolved to the point where we have to outright smuggle ice out of glaciers to have access to it. So when the cops caught a man doing exactly that in Chile in 2012, it came as a surprise. He was caught with 5 metric tons of ice in the back of his truck in the town of Cochrane. Now, such a theft absolutely doesn't help anything, as the region already has some of the fastest melting glaciers in all of Chile, and the officials suspected that the ice was meant for upscale restaurants and bars located in Chile's capital, Santiago, and there may have been a fully fledged gang behind the whole operation. Stealing a truckload of ice? Really?
Wow, crazy, huh?
Who would have knew? Who would have knew?
I had no, no, none at all. I wouldn't have known.
Professional number plate blockers.
Wow. Now that's something.
That's interesting.
So, due to being one of the fastest growing cities in Asia, Tehran has introduced a bunch of road laws in recent years to keep things manageable. Much like other big cities of the world, Tehran has also has designated traffic zones and their own rules that you must follow and fees you must pay if you want access to them, especially in central, more crowded areas of the city. Now, unlike any other city in the world, though, Iranians have found an ingenious way to circumvent those rules and do whatever they want anyway. Dedicated number plate blockers. To get around the strict traffic zone laws, drivers in Tehran have taken to hiring pedestrians who walk behind their cars and block their number plate from the view of CCTV
I have never
cameras.
heard anything like that. That's so crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it? Now, while some of the plate blockers are just people on the street trying to earn a quick buck, there are others that do this for a living, either on foot or on a two-wheeler. Dang!
What?
Wow, that's crazy.
That's
This is just
bizarre.
another. This is just another example of
Yeah,
you implement laws, people will find a way around them, and they'll
that's right.
come up with very ingenious ways of doing this.
And look at that. People are making a buck doing it.
Yeah, it created an entire like industry, basically an entire plate blocking.
That's awesome.
An entire plate blocking industry just because of that. So cool. Kudos to them.
Yes,
I'm down.
indeed.
In anything that sticks it to the man, I salute you.
I totally agree with you.
We always find ways around things. That's what makes me very optimistic about moving into the future. No matter what they throw at us, we'll always find a way. We'll always get a way around it, Joe.
That's right. No, there's always a workaround, is there not?
Always. So we've got time for
Yeah.
one more before we
Okay.
depart today. What have we got?
How about scientists have successfully built a particle accelerator onto a silicon chip, which is something that I remember you talking about with old Patchy Boy a couple years back.
Yep.
So
Patch again? Patch was-
really no surprise that this is now a reality.
What can we use them for? Does it say in here what we can use them for?
Well, let's check it out. It says here, particle accelerators like the LHC are incredibly useful and usually incredibly huge. These instruments really study some of the fundamentals of particle physics, but now scientists have managed to squeeze one onto a silicon chip. It's nowhere near as powerful as the bigger versions as you might expect, but the new particle accelerator chip could still be very useful for researchers who aren't able to access gigantic particle accelerator setups. Now, while this first model is only a prototype, the team behind it is hopeful that it's a first step towards providing a more compact alternative to the well-known massive particle accelerators, including the LHC and the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory. The large accelerators are like powerful telescopes, says electrical engineer Jelena Vukovic from Stanford University. There are only a few in the world, and scientists must come to places like the SLAC to use them.
Do you think
We
we'll
want
end
a
up
minute-
getting them in a watch then, Joe? And then we'll just open a wormhole?
I don't know. It says we want to miniaturize accelerator technology in a way that makes it a lot more of an accessible research tool. And to achieve this, the researchers are turning to a much shorter wavelengths of lasers rather than the conventional microwave acceleration used at the SLAC. They carved a nanoscale channel out of silicon less than the width of a human hair, sealed it in a vacuum, and then propelled electrons through it using pulses of infrared light. Silicon appears transparent to infrared light beams. The researchers used what they describe as an inverse approach to designing the particle accelerator, first figuring out how much light energy they want to deliver, and then working backwards to create nanoscale structures capable of delivering it. And while laser acceleration has been tried before, this is the first time that scientists have been able to get an entire accelerator system built in so small a space, in part due, here it is, Kev, to the computer algorithms that helped in the design of the setup. So here is a great example of how AI and these algorithms are advancing human knowledge at breakneck speed, making advances that we probably never would have been able to do. But because we've created these algorithms and this AI, it has gone and designed this nanoscale structure or nanoscale accelerator that we can put in a silicon chip. So this is crazy. It says you not only have to demonstrate the ability to couple the laser light to the electrons in these very small structures, but you have to generate the electrons and have them also be transmitted by the channel. This is a physicist, Robert Beyer from Stanford University. The good news is that this should lead to cheaper and easier access to the technology for researchers who can then apply it in a variety of scenarios covering chemistry, biology, and material science. Those behind the studies have likened it to the home PC replacing mainframe computers that used to take up entire rooms.
Well, it's true because maybe at one time you can get 3,000 people working at CERN. That's cool. But now you could have 3 million scientists working on the same kind of science. So it's bound to lead to more discoveries again, right?
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. So who knows what the true purpose is and what can be achieved by these nanoscaled particle accelerators? I mean, I don't know.
And well, Joe, think about this as well, right? Because this is cool. And then we were looking at one at CERN today that won't be colliding particles until 2035.
Right.
Now that's a long way. I mean, that's long. That's in the future. That's over 15 years or so away yet.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
So, in between now and then, think of all the other discoveries we're going to make, and then all the other advancements on top of that. Where does this end? Because we're talking about 100-kilometer particle accelerators. We're talking about that one that I've been looking at is variable sizes. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I mean, it's cool. I think that they're kind of scaling this down, right? So, I mean, whoever's going to be using this stuff, the scientists and stuff that are going to be using this, it's almost like they need a particle accelerator to do their research, but they don't need something as big as CERN, right? They don't need something that size in order to do, like you said, some chemistry or some other sort of application where they're not trying to find the Biggs the boson, right? They're not trying to go for that kind of research. They're looking at research to where they need a particle accelerator, but they need something, kind of scaled down, maybe, not as powerful. And I think this provides that gap, that it gives people access to particle accelerators, at a, and you don't have to go to CERN or these giant facilities to do your research. So it's pretty cool.
Until they're opening wormholes or stargates or anything like that, or sending us back
Or
in time.
catching ghosts.
Yeah, and like we want something cool, right? We want something. I don't know. We want to see them ripping that veil like they keep on promising they're going to be doing.
No, this is just another example of technology scaling down, and before you know it, I mean, we will have like full-blown particle accelerators that will just like sit on your desk, or you can throw on your back like a backpack or something.
Well, how about we have a good laugh before we leave today, guys? How about we take a look at the fight of the century before we get out of here today? I tell you, if you're looking for smashing and punching and things like that, probably isn't the fight for you. I don't know what I found today on Twitter when I loaded it up. It was the first thing that met me, and I had to save it. I showed Joe it. I don't know what's going on here, right? Have you ever seen two soy boys having a fight? Have you ever seen this, Scott? Have you ever seen something like this?
It's just god awful. I can't
painful.
even watch it.
It's painful. It's an affront to anything with testes, but I think it's maybe a good way to maybe even show children, if you don't want to turn out like this and stay off the soy. But check this out. Woo! What? You see what I'm saying, Scott? Now this death grip that somebody has got somebody else in, it doesn't even get rectified by the end of the fight.
Nice.
It's wrong. But yeah, exactly.
Nice.
What did I just watch? Was that Michael Moore and Brian Stelter fighting over an Uber? Like I say, it was on my timeline today. It was the first thing I loaded up on Twitter. And I thought, you don't see that every day. And thankfully, you don't see that every day, Scott, right? Dang.
Wow. I've seen much more brutal fights in middle school.
Well, I don't think one punch landed. I don't think one punch met the mark. Although this dude looks injured. I'll give him his due. Maybe he might have fell on the concrete, but that other guy definitely didn't hit him.
I think he might have took a little kick to the face whenever that guy was kind of kicking him, or trying to kick his way out on the ground. I don't know.
These women, they must feel sorry for these two excuses of men trying to fight like that. They must be thinking, what is this all about?
These are the people you're going to have to depend on to defend the United States when the red commie forces come flooding into California, people. So
that's the ones that's the same ones that were worried about getting drafted the other day when everything was going on in Iran, right?
There's your elite fighting force, everybody. There's your crack troops defending the homeland once all hell breaks loose. So,
if ever there was a country out there thinking, when's the right time to invade? I think we found it. I think we found it. So yes, on that note, let me remind everyone we'll have Popeye here tomorrow, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. It will not be a 4-hour marathon like last week. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And you seen it coming, Joe. You bailed early, man.
I did. I bailed. I knew what was good because it's Popeye.
First rule of Soy Fight Club, make sure there's a lot of girls around so that they can break it up, so that there's no danger of anyone getting hurt anywhere.
It's hilarious that it took all of the chicks. Like, it was all the chicks that were breaking the fight up. You know what I mean? Usually, this is like the complete opposite of a chick fight. So it's usually like two chicks fighting, and then the guys are like, "Come on, break it up, girls." It's like two soy boys and a bunch of like women who probably.
That's funny.
But it's not. Look. Whoa! There's not a punch.
I bet those chicks could probably beat their asses. Just saying.
Yeah.
Look at cracking the dude off. Like, come on.
He tries to get him in a figure of 4 headlock there. I've seen that in the wrestling, so I have. Oh, I don't think there was much to see there. You probably could have let that down.
Yeah, she's like, let me cover up your micro. You know what?
Yeah. Now I see why they call you ma'am.
She's probably like, oh my, your man pawn is showing. Let me cover that up.
Resident Grey in the fight in the chat room, I like that. Not so bright club. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Indeedy.
Mm.
So then, is that us then, gents? I think that's us
That
for
would
today.
be our
That's
time.
look at that, 90 minutes on the dot. Now, like I say, tomorrow the poopster, he will be here. However, we are not going to be having another 4-hour session. Scott, no. No. No points into Joe. He knows what to do. He just bails. He goes. He's got it sussed. I ain't doing that again.
I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, but I honestly thought he was breaking himself back in gently, and I know I shouldn't have thought
he's not
that.
capable of doing that. Yeah, no way.
He's poopster. Okay, so yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, folks. Remember, if you want to join the channel, click the join button. You can become a member. You get all of the emojis. We need 7 new members, and then we can get a new emoji. And I think it's a Scottish gnome or a cone gnome. I know. Manorus has been providing us with very comical gnome emojis. Scott's laughing away. Why are you laughing, Scott? A Scottish gnome, not me.
No, he sent me a message on Facebook, and it was a gnome with the Matrix background, and I thought that was pretty hilarious. I really enjoyed that. So,
I like that. Yes.
The Scotty Matrix gnome, or
just gnomes in the Matrix, eh?
Gnomes in the Matrix, yes.
That's a good name for a band. Anyway, folks, we are out here. Thank you all for tuning in today for our weird weekend. It'll get a whole lot weirder tomorrow when we have our real life, our very own personal Florida man on the show. Yes, indeed. So until then, keep it real. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where the brain turns to black goo.